Hi, welcome. Now, I want us to look at dealing with what if analysis, and under what if analysis we're going to look at how to deal with scenarios. So for us to be able to do that, we will take, for instance, you've got a concept that you're holding. Now in this concept that you want to hold, you want to make some projections. How much will you make if you have this number of people come paying this much? So you will have different scenarios that you would have. Probably they pay less, pay more, or pay very much more, or you have more of bigger venues or smaller venue, just like that. Now how do you do that? So you have here an example whereby you've got a venue which has got 300 seats. When you talk about the talent, you're talking about the people that are coming to perform, how much you're going to pay them, the rent for the venue, amplification, the sound system, the lighting, how much it costs to produce the tickets, the security, insurance for the event. So all these are costs. These costs are totaling up to that. Now let us look at how much profit we're going to make. So on the profit side, you have ticket sales. So the tickets which are going to be sold at 30 kwacha, which means you're multiplying this by the number of seats. Then the merchandise, these are different, probably t-shirts, whatever may be. So you're putting it at $5 times that. Then you've got food and beverages. Then from there you have your total revenue at 15,000. Now for us to find the profit, we just subtract the cost from the total revenue. Now this is just one scenario. Now if you want to have more scenarios, for that to happen, you have to go to what you call the what if analysis, and you've got Senario Manager. Now for this to work, the Senario Manager works with uncalculated fields. So all those which I've highlighted green, these are calculated fields. So to come up to the uncalculated fields, you have to highlight those fields that are not calculated. After highlighting the fields which are not calculated, I'm using control. So if I highlight this one, I'm holding control, then I'm highlighting all those fields which are calculated. Then I go to my Scenario Manager, then I go to Scenario Manager. Then when I click on Scenario Manager, this is what I have. So you've got this part which says no scenarios defined. Choose and add a scenario. So down here it's telling me the sales, the comment. So I start by adding a scenario. So I click on add. Immediately I click on add, it picks up. Here it's asking me to give a name to this scenario. So since this scenario is the original one, I'll probably put it as original, or I can say scenario 1, which means it's the original. So I can say scenario 1. Then if I click on the cell, on the changing cell, it tells me, it highlights to me the cells which will be changing. Here under description, this is where I just put, or I write a description about this scenario. So I can say this is the original scenario. Okay, so when I'm done doing that, I just say okay. When I say okay, now it gives me now the figures which are there. If you look at this figure here, it's B4. Now B4 is this one here, B4. So the funny part about it, that it will not write a label. For instance, the B4 is labeled by venue or seats there, but it won't be labeled like that. So you might have to follow it that way. Then the other thing that you might need to be aware of is that this is counting from 1 to 5. but if you look at these are more than 5. So to see the rest, you have to come and scroll down. Now as you scroll down, it is scrolling down, but the numbers are stagnant. Okay, so you might just have to, do not be misled by the numbers there, so you have to be able to follow what is reading there. So since this is our original one, we don't want to change it, so we just say okay to add this to the scenario. So you see that under scenarios you have got scenario 1. Okay, that is the original one. Now let us add our own scenario. So we go and say add. So we're saying scenario 2. The same cells that we're dealing with. Then under description, if you want, you can leave it empty. You say okay. So now in our second scenario, we want to see what would happen if we increase the number of seats to about 400. Now if you increase the number of seats to 400, which means you're talking about a bigger venue, and probably it would cost more for the people that are coming to perform, that is probably 450,000, then would have to increase the price of the venue probably to 550. Here you don't put commas or dollar signs, no, it's just to put the number. Now we're looking at the amplification, the sound system, probably to cost a little bit more, probably 350, because a bigger venue requires more sound system. Then you've got the lighting, more lighting needs to be done. You probably put it at 300. Then you've got ticketing. You've got more tickets that you need to do, probably 250. Then you've got security. You need more security there, so you probably have to put it at about 200. Now you might have to, you might need insurance. Now the insurance, probably we can leave it at the same point, or it can rise to 150. Okay, so from there you've got another scenario which you can say okay, then it's added. Then you can also add more scenarios. So after you're done, you can double click on one scenario to counter check. So if I double click, you'll see that it shows me there. On scenario 2, I can double click and it will show me. Then I can say show, it will show me. Then to see everything, you just click on summary. Then you say okay. That's how you get to see all the scenarios there.